This is Family Electric Ghost doing a live on the air. And hope I don't mess up your Morley Nelson.
You got it.
Yeah. And you're a writer, producer, director, actor, and your wife is on the line as well.
Yes.
So I want to welcome you both to the Family Electric Ghost podcast. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick at the moment. And you're a father, husband, writer, producer, director. You're known for projects such as AMC's Walking Dead, Bad Robot, Hulu's 11/22/63, more recently, Uncontained, which we are going to actually put up the I have a QR code for that, so I'm going to put that up right now. So that's the QR code for your Amazon. I think that goes to the Amazon link.
Right.
And it's the same link that's down below, but that's not clickable. So people can kind of check it out as we're talking. But what's interesting is I love to talk to creative people. And I always ask every guest a couple questions before you get to the heart of your story.
Yep.
What motivates you and why do you do what you do?
Boy, that's a really tough question. I think when you're creative, it's interesting to be called creative when you're creative, I think. Like, how that goes, right? Like people are like, so creative, right? And it's like I think being creative is great, but it's nothing if you can't execute it, right? So I think you have to pull these ideas and, from a writing standpoint, you have to pull the ideas out of your head and then articulate them so that other people can understand them. Mm-hmm. I think that's the key, is that I feel that a lot of my creativity for me is that I want to reach out to people and connect people and communicate with people. Like, I love watching movies. I love listening to music. And I think when you get down to it, a lot of that is just connecting with other people that you will never meet in your life. But at the same time, we have these commonalities and these commonalities that we like, that we enjoy. And I think that adds like so much to life, because life is hard, right? And so if you can enjoy someone's creative elements, I think that's one of the most beautiful elements we have in our world. So I think that drives me to share. And then the other thing that I think drives my creativity is that, and I think this is probably less creative side, more fueling the creative. And that would be just seeing more. I want our kids to grow up seeing more people that look like us on television. Because I had to grow up without seeing hardly anybody. And when I did, they were like terrible representation of what we, just being normal people. Right. Yeah. So getting away from the stereotype, moving into just being seen as equals, right? And so that's kind of why we do it. That's what drives me, at least, for my writing and for my acting. Acting, I guess, is just something we were talking about that the other day, and I don't know what it is that drives my need to act, but I just it's something I have to do, and I wish I knew why. So a lot of people was like, oh, I remember the moment the acting bug bit me. And I don't know if that was for me. I was a lead in the high school play. And then that's why I was a theater major in college. Mm-hmm. But I think it's something that there's some form of art in all of us intrinsically. Yeah. And I think if you can identify that, and if you can actually like pluck those strings, then it's a matter of how far do you want to take it. And I think that's, for me, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm only writing and directing and producing so I can act at the end of the day. But it's, living life through, it's a lot of catharsis through acting, but it's also, I think it's kind of giving birth to, I said it a lot when we were shooting our movie. If the movie's a baby, it's making sure you're taking care of the baby at all costs, and what's healthy for the baby and what's not. So what drives your creativity?
Oh, you're going to ask me?
Yeah.
I think that for me, creativity is all about connecting to emotion. So it's connecting to how I'm feeling, but also trying to create something that connects to other people, because I like that connection. I like being able to put something in a visual way that people can understand it, they can digest it, and then they somehow feel it. And so I think that's why I probably always make my gifts. I always do everything that is like I don't usually buy cards. I usually write the cards or draw the cards or make
Yeah.
the cards. Yeah. Because it just,
Personal. But it's a personal touch.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then I think it's interesting too, because you can have, creative is such a gigantic spectrum, right? And so the first person I always give my scripts to are her, because I know she's going to be number one honest with me, right? Because creatives cannot take like
Criticism.
when you're exposing the nerve and the root of the nerve, and you're like, I'm going to show this to the first person and put it out in the world. It's like, you're really vulnerable.
Yeah, their vulnerability. Yeah,
Yeah, right. And creatives are horrible at criticism, like just terrible. Like we are the worst people to say anything that, like breathe wrong in the wrong way, in the wrong direction. You're like, oh, what do you know? Whatever. But
it's funny because I think about creativity. I think it's interesting because I think every human being is very creative.
Yes.
However, people who become like creatives and really take it from the inside and take it from like their guarded space, and then they put it out in the ether and they put it in the world. You have to kind of get your back up a little bit. And like musicians, we run into it all the time because when you first start learning, nobody wants to hear you because you're trying to right. And then you get to this point where you put your 10,000, 20,000 hours in.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a bar band or are you going to write your own thing?
Yeah.
And then when you have the courage to actually put your own thing in the world, I think it's everybody runs that. From the actor that's a writer director like you guys are doing, and to the the painter that's willing to like put their own work, not just copying Renoir, but actually doing their own thing.
Yes.
I think that's where that the rubber hits the road.
Yes.
You're willing to put it out there. You do get haters in this world with the ether. Haters show up everywhere.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, whatever. You're like, my tribe will find me. Law of attraction.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's kind of like how I would say we felt like the day, like right after the movie premiered and went out. I mean, it was like, now what?
Yeah.
And then we started looking at all the reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, how did that feel?
Yeah, you can't put it back in the box, right? Like once you do it, the genie's out of the bottle. Like you open Pandora's box, like you're exposed, and it's kind of like, and there's when you put something out, like you said, in the ether in mass, I mean, it's like the entire world can see it, and you cannot pull it back.
No,
like
it's just there. I mean, and when you, to me, it's when you're an artist, you can break some eggs. Yeah. Like the first piece you put out is never going to be what your the 1,000th piece that you put out. Like as a musician, we put we have hundreds of songs, thousands of songs.
Yep.
And then the ones we choose to put out in front of the world. And we're not, like again, when you have somebody review your work, a lot of times we find that we're not the best arbiter of what we should go out. So a lot of times you have to go and have like beta people. If I pick a song, like my beta people or the people I trust, and say, you know what, the song you think is it, that's not it.
Yeah.
The one that you don't think is it, that's the one.
Yep. Yeah. I think that, so writing is very similar. I mean, before I got my first writing job where I actually got money paid, I had written at least 20 some scripts, right? I mean, I read, full length, full scripts ready in my mind, and that's, I think, when you're in the entertainment industry, the thing that's different is that you're always feeling like you're one breath away from someone discovering you or being a hit, right? Like, because that's the dream, like the quick dream, right? The quick dream is, I'm like a second away, like I'm one hit away. I'm
gonna catch fire, you're gonna go big.
Yeah, like someone's gonna discover this, or the right person is gonna see this, and so I had 20 of those, and then finally the first job I got was like, okay, this is the one that we'll put out, and this is the one. And like you said, I think the discipline comes from making sure that you continue to do it. You don't just, it's not luck at all. I mean, luck is involved.
Yes.
But
a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yes. And that's why I think people forget discipline is the probably biggest, should be the most used words for creatives. Right, you have to be disciplined with your creativity. Otherwise,
you really have to put it. I mean, since 17 years old, I've been writing. I write, I'm kind of crazy. I write 4 or 5 songs a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
I put down a lot of material, and people's like, "How can you do that?" Well, if you really love it,
Yeah.
I mean, I run it. If you run it like experimental musicians or jazz musicians or like Delta Blues, the guys in New Orleans, they're
Yeah.
playing like since they were like 10.
Yeah.
And if you love it, you don't usually put it down, right?
No.
If it's just like a hobby or you do it every 2 years or something, it's like when I find people like really dedicated to the craft, you're probably doing a lot of it until you. Sometimes you got to walk away, but you don't walk away for very long periods of time.
No.
No.
No, it's just to get space and kind of clean the
Perspective.
canvas, you
Yeah.
know, and just come with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, you got to recharge, like everything, right? You cannot work yourself to the bone every single day, 7 days a week, and then expect to have peak creativity.
No.
Right? And it's just, I
I
think
think you're doing too many takes. Like if you think about like an artist might do 100 takes, like a musician, they
Yeah.
might be in the studio 12 hours. You're on their like 90th take.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they got to walk away because then they come back the next day and say, you know what? It took me 90 takes to figure out the 4th take is the best one.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a lot like filmmaking. You do generally, I think I've gotten down to the point where it's like, okay, I know if I'm filming myself as a director, I know I've got like, it's either going to be the first one, the 5th one, or the 2nd one, generally.
I like to go back to the second one.
Sometimes the 3rd, and sometimes the 4th. But generally
It just depends on if
5.
I'm there and I
Yeah,
tell you
no.
which one's good.
Yeah. No.
That's
Yeah.
interesting because there's a lot of people I think get obsessive. I've run into musicians that get really crazy.
Yeah.
And they'll do like 100, 200 takes.
No.
Trying to hit some like passage, like 10 seconds, 12 seconds worth of work.
Yeah.
Going at it. And I always came at it like, I can actually, I can read sheet music. I can do, but what I found with people is like, you know what, you got to feel it.
Yes.
If you don't feel it, and the thing is, I think it's interesting when you talk about 3rd, 4th take, in the smaller amounts of takes,
Yeah.
because I think as an artist, like the closer you are to the original intent,
Yes.
the better it is, because once you start rethinking it, overthinking it, then you ruin it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a lot. I think it's easy to say, well, we should do a ton of takes to be safe because we have the technology now and we can do it and it's simple and fast. But again, what does it matter if there's no heart in it, right? And I think you get to the point again where the discipline comes in and you've been doing it long enough and it's something that you just don't do haphazardly for fun. It's not a hobby.
Yeah.
A career. You figure out, okay, yes, I can do this. You don't have to do the discovery phase necessarily while you should have the discovery phase for filmmaking should be well done before you're actually shooting.
Yeah, because in terms of like you've actually storyboards,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
if you've really written the screenplay, it's got a lot of information on how you want it to go.
Yes.
And if you've done that work, and then also, you've got the happy accents, and then you've got your 20,000, 30,000 hours or whatever doing it, right? If you've been an actor, you've been doing it.
Yeah.
You have a good feel, especially if you're a writer director.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what I want. I know
what you
my
want.
vision.
I know what these guys that don't know what you want.
And it's funny because like we were talking about, like what drives you, it's that communicating with people, right? And it's funny because you're just like, here's the idea in my brain. And a lot of people with the most genuine intent are like, well, what about this? Or what about that? Or what about this? Or don't you think this? It's like,
It
Nope.
seems like you
No.
get distracted from the original intent.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The original intent is that if it's a golden yellow apple, it's, people are like, oh, it could be red. Just think if it were red. If it were a red apple, it'd be fantastic. You're like, no. It's a golden apple. It's I've been working on this image of this golden apple for 4 years. It's a golden apple. And you change it to a golden apple, and you're going to forget that we were actually here for the tree and not the apple. And
Yeah, because you got too many choices. Because like today with like all the tech,
yeah,
like I'm sure like when you've got your film tech, right, and
Yeah.
all the stuff you can do between the tech before there was AI, there was a lot of stuff that you could do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
technical stuff you can do with some of this digital equipment.
Yeah.
And even with music, like sometimes I like to go and limit myself by using like Moogs or using tape machines or
Yeah.
multi-tracks and not using the DAW. because I like having the kind of constriction
Yeah.
of actually not having going on the grid and trying to, get it
Yeah.
to be perfect. I
Right.
actually would rather have the happy accident or have me playing that bass line for 4 minutes myself
Yes.
Mhm.
rather than plugging it in, because I think if I play it myself, it's going to feel real
Yes.
compared to like me trying to, make it perfect on the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree 100%. People ask me all the time, can't you save money if you utilize, a green screen, before AI, right?
Mhm.
AI is obviously in the next 2 years, it's going to be so easy to do like you'll be able to record, you'll be able to shoot an entire movie in your, in this room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? We're a year away from that technology and no one will be able to tell the difference. But personally, I've never liked green screens. I've never liked effects. I like shooting practical and I like shooting in real settings because it allows not just me, but the other actors and then also the crew, the cinematographer, even the sound mixer, the person capturing every single sound.
Mhm.
It's real.
Real.
You're
Yes.
Yeah,
capturing.
it's organic about this, like when people talk about acoustic instruments or not using samples and actually playing it out. There's
Yeah.
something about like when you even if people film cameras. I know people it's all digital,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there are some folks that still like to use the old style
Oh.
because
5 mil.
there
Yeah.
might be a certain feel to it. And
Yes.
Yeah.
it's kind of like the way I look at things today, like some projects require you to use maybe an older tech, and sometimes like this requires me to use like the top tech AI.
Yeah.
And I think like whatever serves what you're working on.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's like one master thing. I think if you're an artist, you pick the tool that works for where you are and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think
Yep.
that's why it works so well with you to be the writer, director, and actor.
Yeah.
Because you know what you want it to say, know how you want it to feel,
Hmm.
and you know what you want the aesthetic around, how that's going to look. Specifically by like when you're talking about, I can't say the word, but that one camera, that anamorphic.
Anamorphic lenses.
Yes, anamorphic.
Yeah.
He was like adamant. It was no, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And how many people tried to talk you out of it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool about having so many strings.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning earlier, is then you get the product exactly the way you want it to be.
And I think the difficult part, I think, when you have like a strict vision, because it's not a vision that I think there's a lot of beginning writers or first time writers, and they think like that means I stick to what the story is, and no one can convince me different because what I have is the best. It's not that at all.
No.
It's from experience, knowing after 50 rewrites of this script in the 17 iterations of this script, which is kind of the skeletal structure of what you're going to be shooting, right? It's vital to storytelling, and it's vital to connect with an audience, that every scene that leads into the next scene makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The previous scene has to make sense
Yes.
for the scene you're shooting, and then that scene has to make sense for the following scene. And if you mess with it on the day that you're shooting and you say, oh, what about this or what about that, from a high concept level, because it's so complex, it could unravel everything.
Yes.
And
You have to do all this editing, that like heavy editing that a lot of people do nowadays.
Yeah. No, and so edit. So I'm not sure if I'm. So because I'm a writer, producer, director, and actor, for me, my style that I've learned that works best for me is that I shoot for the edit.
So you shoot for the edit, so you don't have to go. You're not saying, "Well, I would just fix it in the edit."
Yes, like like what? Who are you doing? No, like fix this. No, fix that. No, no. It's like I have my editor. So my editor's name is Charlie Grishevsky, and he is phenomenal.
Yes.
He's very creative. It's in our industry. It's weird because a lot of people don't consider editors creatives.
Oh, I think they are.
Absolutely creative, like beyond creative, because a lot of times, like you said, fix it in post.
Yeah.
They have to be able to make magic, right? Because
They make the whole thing come together. I mean, that's the magic. It's like a recording engineer.
Yeah.
Like a recording engineer and producers.
Yep.
Like you put something down, and then they use all their magic, and they actually say, you know what, we actually need to move this here. We need to take
Yeah.
this there. We need to maybe use this voicing. You leave this space. They come in and they don't, really good ones don't destroy your intent.
Right.
Yeah.
They enhance your intent.
Exactly.
You have to make the right choices. It depends on your level of maturity as an artist.
Yes.
If you're unsure, then they will take over.
Yes.
If you are very sure, then they will enhance your vision and they won't destroy it. But if you're unsure, you could let them destroy it.
Yeah. Yep. They'll walk all over. Yeah. You have to know. I think that's it. Sticking to your guns as far as like, what works and what so I think that's where people forget that passion isn't afterwards. It's before, right? During, and you have to carry that passion. You can't let it die. You can't let anyone extinguish it, but you have to use that passion to say, no, I want it to be this way. Or look at this. And I like arguing with Charlie Whittaker because we'll argue about something. He'll say, no, I think the sound we should bring the music cue up at this point. And it's, well, why would you do that? And he's like, well, let's take a look. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's interesting. You consider it. And then you're like, no, I think it's this. Yeah. And then he looks at, and then you figure out, and then maybe a day goes by and he goes, oh, you're right. Or I make him do uncomfortable things because he's like, well, this doesn't make sense creatively. Like, why would you? And it's like, because it's uncomfortable. It's a horror movie.
Oh,
it has to be uncomfortable. And that's why it bothers you. And that's the point. I need it to bother you.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're trying to get into the whole aesthetic. Like if you're in a horror film, it's supposed to be kind of unnerving.
Yes.
It's supposed to and it's interesting because I always watch this thing with they interviewed like Orson Welles about Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And he was saying like he didn't know what he couldn't do with the camera. And he said, I got this cameraman that we were willing to kind of go outside the canon of filmmaking because like can't we do this? Why can't we do that?
Yes.
Right? So if he went to push the edge, with the slides and all these interesting camera angles and using the shadows and the way they came in on people. Yeah. I just think that's just brilliant when you have people who have a vision and are allowed to execute outside of the canon. Like, you get great musicians, you think about like Miles Davis, when he went into fusion, all the bebop people started screaming.
Yeah.
That's not jazz. It's like, it's not, like this is the new jazz. It's like it doesn't matter if I'm the bebop king. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
I want to do something else.
Yeah. People, I think, and that's the problem. I think it's amplified today because it's so easy to see everything, right? You have access to everything. I mean, for just a few generations, we've had access to everything and anything in the entire world.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to say, well, it needs to be this way because without even like subconsciously, you're like, well, I like this style, right? Whether it's music or art or film or.
Yeah, you can get into the clone mode.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have so many people that are remaking the same film.
Yes.
Oh.
And then doing it badly.
Yes.
But
like, I'd rather see something new. I always like going to indie people. I've always been in this thing where I like emerging independent artists because I don't want to see the same thing over and over, which is like the clone culture of like the ether.
Yeah.
And the internet is like you get put into your little tribe and the algorithm gives you exactly what you like.
Yeah.
Yep.
You never push yourself to like something that's outside of that.
Yeah.
And I always want to get pushed.
Yes. I love tasting from, so we have, our two kids were, so in our movie, we had our two children, our dog, obviously Nick, right? And we shot in our house. Mm-hmm. And we always tell our kids when it comes to, we were worried about, going back to criticism, we were worried that because it's so easy, and things are so tribal now, and so everything's so accessible, right? We're like hope that people like the movie, but you got to assume that a lot of people are going to be mean and they're going to say things. Yeah. And
it's edgy to be mean. I mean, the way the net actually pays you more if you're mean.
Yeah. Right. Because more engagement. Right. And so we prep them and it's, Brooke, at the time we shot the movie, our daughter was 3. Yeah. So she was just 3. And then we had and our son was 7. And when the movie came out, they're a little bit older, and we're trying to explain to them, to me, it's silly because your taste is subjective. Your taste is your taste, right? Mm-hmm. And we're dynamic. Every human being is dynamic. You can like more than one thing.
Yeah.
And so our metaphor is always like, it would be silly for someone to say, "Oh, you like chocolate ice cream? That's disgusting. How stupid can you be to like chocolate ice cream?" That's like, I like chocolate ice cream. Like, I don't know why I
Yeah,
like it.
people just like what they like. And so like, yeah, and I think everything has a place. Like I say, a law of attraction. You put something out in the ether, and everybody can tell you to put out brand X. Because
Yeah,
brand X is the hottest thing. You're gonna get 1 billion views.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then like, I want to put out brand Z. Oh, that's not hitting. That's not doing it. It's like, no, you don't know until you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said with Orson Welles, sometimes you have to be able to. I think that, so. What I was experimenting with, and I think what worked for us, was that I wanted to push outside of the box, but
Mhm.
keeping in mind what is it in the box that people really like, and what is it that I want to say. So I have something to say, and what do people like, and how do I bring that together, even though it's outside the box?
Like
And
the purpose is to try to get people to engage. Because like any art, any piece of art, you want to pull people in so they stay in. Like
yes,
when you write a book, you got to have that hook that keeps you reading the book. You
yes,
have your song, you got the first 5 seconds. You got to get somebody to actually stay in without skipping it. And
that's
so every artist has got to figure out a way. How do I get the audience to get engaged and stay in my piece?
yes, and that's exactly the process that I took. I was running it back and forth with her, thinking about, I love, so me personally, my favorite, like, I love horror, and I've always loved, I think I've loved horror since I was little. And
Mhm.
so I have a very eclectic taste. There's not one genre or subgenre of horror that I'm like, oh, it's only slashers or monsters, only creatures. It's everything. I have eclectic taste.
Hmm.
I love, I think for me, my brain needs to be stimulated. So I need to check out, like, I'll look at anything, and if it hits, it hits. But from our standpoint, I tend to lean more towards zombie. The
I mean,
zombie.
you like that kind of, well, you like the Walking Dead type of thing.
Yeah, like I like all zombie stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the original zombie stuff. Like
yeah,
if you get to the early zombie stuff, but it's interesting because I'm a comic book head, and
okay,
I am a big fan of EC comics, like Tales from the Crypt, that kind of stuff. The stuff that was like pre-code,
yes,
and
Yeah.
then pre-code like Tales from the Crypt and Evolved to Horror, all that stuff.
yes,
And it got kind of banned because they said it was wrecking all the kids. It's like
yeah,
wrecking their minds. But
yeah,
it's like it was so creative, like
yes,
that stuff.
yes,
And it's like the code stuff doesn't matter anymore.
right,
But there was a whole period where it did, and
yep,
it kind of constrained those people. But I was always drawn, as like I was looking, but I always just find these banned books.
right, right,
And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
as a kid, it's like I'm gonna go find all those EC books.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing too, because I think if you're always seeking truth or seeking knowledge,
Mhm.
the best thing you can say to somebody to get them to read something or look at something is say it's banned.
Yeah,
Oh,
Right.
it makes you like why was it banned?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
why
yeah.
did you guys not like that?
Yeah. Like, this is a mystery I need to solve. Like, and then 9 times out of 10, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why was this banned? This is nothing. Like, but it's also context and time and everything. But I think, yeah, for us, I wanted to make sure that, like you said, if we're going to do a movie, any movie I do, I want to make sure that it's not just entertaining, but it's something that is going to be memorable. And the way to make it memorable is that audience and people that watch it are going to say, "Oh yeah, like, oh, that's interesting," and then you get them to think about
Yeah,
the human condition.
Mhm.
Like, think about, well, if I were in this situation, and that's the idea, right? Like, you set a good film. Every good film sets up the emotional geography first, or I'm sorry, the physical geography first, right? The setting. And the setting, for example, like, the best films will have not just, here's a picture of the city, oh, I'm in the city, or here's a picture of the beach, right? Take, I think it's Jane Campion's Piano, for example, right?
Mhm.
The opening scene is you have this boat that comes up to the shore, and Holly Hunter jumps out, and she jumps in with her boots and socks and clothes into the water, into the sand, and it's uncomfortable.
hmm
But so that's the physical geography. Well, you immediately, as a human being, identify with that, right? Like, immediately you're like, oh, emotionally, I know how that feels. Like, yuck. Oh, it's cold and
Yes.
disgusting. And but what that does is, as a storytelling tool, that has now pulled you in to identify with the character, and now you're at at worst, you're standing next to them and feeling what they're feeling. At best, you're living vicariously through them and you're seeing through their eyes. You're being empathetic, which is great. And then once you have that established in a story, you can go from the physical geography to the emotional geography, right? And then that emotional geography, you have people watching and they care what happens to the character and they care what, the tension pulls them along with the character so that they fear for the character or they hope for the character. And then that will allow you to say what you need to say. Like, that's great. And you feel these things, but what if this, for you, this, like that's great that you love zombies, but at the end of the day, you watch a zombie movie and then do you put it to bed? Or is that something where, what if it stayed with you? What if you go to work and you're still thinking about, what if like zombies are so popular all over the world that we have these zombie pub crawls, we have zombie parades called zombie walks. They have
everything.
Right? Yeah, like millions of people. Like Sydney, Australia has them. They have them in Hong Kong. They have them in, Paris, and all like
whole genre.
Yeah, like and all over the United States. And that tells me that people, and 90% of the people don't dress up as survivors or zombie battlers. They dress up as zombies.
Well, it's like they identify with the monster. It's like, you think about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yes.
You identify with the monster.
Yes.
The monster is not the villain. The monster is the hero. Right?
Yes.
So a lot of times in horror, you end up identifying with the monster.
Yes.
You get to understand the monster. You understand why people see him that way.
Yeah. And I think, I love that because I think I love having an anti-hero, like the monster is the hero. And then I love having the sympathetic villain, who's the antagonist.
Yeah.
But you identify with him, right? Where you're like, oh, I see why he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I guess he's bad, but understandably that way because, I guess I would feel that way too, or, whatever. And I think because it's easier to identify with those characters, no matter who they are in the story, because it's so human.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think the
monster becomes superhuman, even though they're a monster.
Yes.
A lot of times when you create a monster story, you spend a lot of time as the writer making them showing their humanity.
Yeah.
And showing somehow how the world is not seeing their humanity. Like, they're a mutant, or they're an outcast, or they're the other, or they're dangerous. But it's like they're misunderstood. And people can understand that because I think they start to see themselves like the looking glass self. They start to say, hey, I can identify with Frankenstein. I can identify with Bela Lugosi. I can identify with like Orson Welles in The Third Man. Because he's being a villain. I'm being being Nazi sympathizer. He's being crazy, being like, there's nothing wrong with fascism.
Right.
It's like, so he's being like really like in your face saying like, whoa, how could you be into that? But either way, he's carrying off the lines. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I know he's a bad guy, but I'm getting drawn in.
Yeah. And I think too, then you think for a second, and how horrible is that, right? Like that's the true terror, is that you can identify with something so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then, like like you're saying, for example, Frankenstein, right? That's saying like, it's much worse. Or even now, like modern, we have like a moment for body horror, right? Like The Substance came out and, or the movie Together, and people identify with the characters, but then when something horrible happens to them, that gives you the creeps. Well, that's because it's, you've identified with them and you think about it, like, so you're having sympathy for the main character. But I think, the other thing I like too about, you mentioning like all the older movies like Orson Welles, and I think he had one of the better quotes for filmmaking as a whole, or creativity generally as a whole. And I'm going to murder it, but it was the fact that obstacles are the best motivators for creativity.
Yeah, putting like roadblocks in your way and putting obstacles actually makes you get better.
Yes.
Like if you put yourself like sometimes musicians will purposely not use the best mic. Right? We purposely maybe not the best guitar.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we'll actually go onto an instrument where like I'm a guitar player, but I'll do the song on a piano.
Mhm.
And I'm not the best player, but there's something I want to say on this piano that only as a guitar player I'm going to approach it different. Now, that's not going to be perfect. You can
Mhm.
find somebody to actually play it perfect. But the point is that you want to come in and be authentic and vulnerable, and being perfect is not that's not the point.
No, no. Yeah, you're right. Because you're not going to grow otherwise, right? And I think too that part of that growth is in everything after that point. You're going to be able to adapt and overcome faster, which will allow you to free up more of your creativity to go in other areas. And I think that just it's more freeing up of your mind and being able to communicate with yourself and figuring out if I can do it interpersonally, I can do it intrapersonally, whatever, with other people.
Yeah. It's super interesting because, like Bowie said, that as an artist, he always wanted to feel like he was treading water a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's why he would kind of change like a chameleon.
Yes.
Go from being Ziggy to being like a Thin White Duke to being Aladdin Sane. You create the all these different characters. Go in and have somebody like singing with Luther Vandross.
Yep.
And he knew that Luther could actually sing better than him in terms of technical singing, right? But he wouldn't be challenged by having people around him that were actually technically better than him.
Right.
He would seek out people that were actually better musicians and not be intimidated that they were better. They actually wanted to actually learn from the experience of going with people who could challenge him and actually challenge his conventions and say, why not do something different? Going with Brian Eno and saying, hey, I can just pick all kinds of different things and like break the rules.
Yes.
Why not?
And I think that's the key to collaboration is you want to find somebody that is, and I think that's the most frustrating part for any artist is not finding people that will push you, right? Like at your level and having to, because I think we've all coming up as an artist, in the beginning, you're just desperate to work with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all had to do like all the not fun, bad experiences, right? Like we've all worked with people who are terrible at their jobs. And I think that's part of suffering through it, right? But without even knowing it, having to compensate for their lack of what you need makes you a better person. And,
you work with what you have, like you work with the budget you have, you work with the situation, with the people you have, and then you try to do the best work that you can. And as every artist knows, like the first piece is going to be like the second piece is going to be a lot better than the first piece. The third piece is going to be better than the second piece. You progressively, usually, now whether the fans understand it, like there's always this growth.
Yes.
And sometimes like you might grow, but your audience doesn't understand it. Right. So you might get a dip in your audience, but you grew.
Right.
And then you get to the next thing and then the audience is there. But you still needed to go through that growth step that maybe didn't commercially work.
Right.
That is not a misstep.
No.
That is actually necessary.
Yep. I think the crazy part comes in where the 3/4 of what we do, unfortunately, in film is business, right? Like it's making the film and sacrifice. It's interesting to me. I was talking to another director yesterday. It's interesting that we make something out of nothing from our brains, right? And our emotions and our heart. We get it on paper. We convince a bunch of people to do it with us. We get it off the paper and you shoot it. You have people act it out. You have to deal with all kinds of craziness and people arguing with each other and weather and people are getting sick and, missing this or the equipment breaks. It's
the
really,
producer side, which is all business, right? Like when you're a producer, that's like the business side, right?
Well, yeah, and so it's amazing to get the film made, but then once you have it made, right, that's the biggest. People have no idea how hard it. I mean, I can't remember the stats. It's like 68-70% of all films that start shooting never complete.
They don't even finish, yeah.
Yeah, like they don't even. You never see them, and then only like 2 to 1% of films make money.
Oh gosh.
Right. So that's a daunting task from a business sense. So once you get the film in the can and made, and then you go through post and get all the creativity done, and it's all, here's what you have, and you deliver the film so that it can be consumed and watched and enjoyed. That's the part where the business comes in, right? Mm-hmm. And business is then jumps on it, and unfortunately, the business aspect kind of drives everything, right? Like, you got to make money, mm-hmm. right? That's kind of no matter how good the film is, right? That's why we have cult classics, right? Like box office failure, like Blade Runner, for example, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner with Harrison Ford, tanked at the box office, right? Didn't make
it. One of the best science fiction movies ever done.
Exactly. Right. It found its audience. It just took time.
Mm-hmm.
Like some movies, again, it's a work of art. The idea that you're going to go and watch something on opening weekend, that has to do with marketing and selling the idea of your film and convincing people, like, look, this
blockbuster versus like the classic.
Yes. And then that marketing may fail, right? And then it will take time for people to be like, oh, have you seen this movie Blade Runner? Amazing, right? Like, that's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I'm a child of the '70s. And I was like, I was really excited because I saw, I had been a Star Wars freak.
Yeah.
Waiting for Harrison Ford to come back as Han Solo, and he didn't. Yep. And we're like, okay, when's he gonna do another science fiction movie?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he does this one. It's like, well, this is awesome.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, because I think. So Blade Runner is probably one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to me that it was just at that time, right? You had different movies coming out, and that just wasn't in the zeitgeist at that time.
No,
right?
And everybody's looking for, I think people are looking for like Star Wars level type
stuff. E.T., right? Like
stuff like that. And it's like, this was too weird. But to me, I was like, oh, that's right. That's right on the mark. Because I like Kubrick.
Yeah.
The guy like 2001. And that's a crazy movie, man. That's very slow. It's a very slow film for today's market. I don't know if people can handle that. The kids today.
So it's interesting because film has done in the probably from 2010 to now, film has taken a different pacing is different. It's much faster. You don't get to establish the characters like you did prior to the 2010s.
Whatever. Very slow movies. I grew up with slow movies.
Yep. Like that was just, you got to enjoy it visually. And, like I was talking about before, the physical geography, right? They established that, and then that set it up. So the emotional geography just came like that. Whereas today, the pacing has to be fast, quick, and then tone. We used to be able to have a mixture of, your movie could be, you could have one-liners and it could be funny, but then it could also be scary, and it could be serious, and it could have drama, right? Today, tone is pretty much
monotone. It's like a monotone. It's like their whole thing.
90% it's this, and you can have one or two little jokes here, or you can have one or two little, spikes away from the tone, but we are definitely like a monotone.
Yeah. That's interesting. As an independent filmmaker, that's like the rub. That's the kind of what the canvas that you got to be constrained in.
Yeah.
Do you still try to like sneak stuff in?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I can't help but try and be funny. Like I know. Like we have this on this. When we met, I told her, well, I'm constantly trying to joke, and
You're your biggest fan.
Yeah. My batting ratio, if I can get 1 for 10, I'm happy. I can, so he
has to know his audience.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not great at that either. No, I think I always smuggle ideas in very subtly so that people don't even realize.
Yeah. It's always good to have the subtext. If you can sneak stuff in, you can be kind of radical.
Yes, exactly.
Because people are so like their attention span's so low. If you sneak all kinds of Easter eggs in, or you throw things in, if you go back and watch the movie again, then you find like, you were doing this and you were doing that, and I like that with movies. I like to go back, and watch and see like where are they actually? Were they throwing like a little hint here, or were they
joking
about this, or there's something in the scene that I didn't see, and it actually means a lot.
Yep, rewatchability, right? Like you want to make something so subtle and up for. I want the audience to be able to say, on one hand, this is what I think the movie is, and that's the goal, right? Like what is their interpretation? That is the goal. Whatever their interpretation is, they're right.
Yeah.
But also, I'm, subtly putting stuff in, and I've thought about the story so much that all those details, sometimes I'm shocked. I'm like, oh yeah, I made sure that the peanut butter jar was there. Oh yeah, because it has to later on. That's the seed that in the plant. Later we have this peanut butter jar. Well, that's kind of a funny moment now.
Yeah.
But that allows for the scene 17 scenes later when they feed the peanut butter to use it for something. Then I've already planted it and it's there, but you can use it for both things. And the other thing I like to do is I don't ever want to be overt or just blatant with anything. I want
to just being some people are so it's like with plot lines now.
Yeah.
If you have very sophisticated, if you look at movies in the 70s, very slow movies.
Yeah.
A lot of really I don't know, they were just dramas, but the plots are not overly clear.
Yeah.
And they would branch out and there's little things, Easter eggs, and it's very subtle. And they're not going hitting you over the head.
Yes.
If you don't know who the villain is. You don't know what really happened. It starts to, you might not know to the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Exactly.
And today people are like, oh, I gotta get hit over the head.
Yeah.
Be told exactly what it is.
Yeah. And that's
where's the fun?
No, that's dumb. I think that's the dumbing down of art.
Yes.
I think for me, the people that I write for, and I think the people really underestimate Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote our film for Gen Z and millennials in mind, and I made it as smart as possible. I hardly explain anything. I think with the adoption of anime, we've accepted and adopted anime in a society for 2 generations now.
Yeah, I love anime.
And a lot of anime, you don't know what's going on, right?
You watch One Piece, 1,000 episodes. I was a Gotcha Man guy. I was into Gotcha Man. I was watch all 100 episodes.
Yeah.
And I like Cowboy Bebop, but Shinichiro Watanabe. I like everything he does. I lived in Japan for a couple of years. For 2 years.
Cool.
And I just was totally enamored.
Yeah.
With the stuff, I was watching Japanese TV and watching it on the channels as it was coming out.
Yeah.
And I was I was just loving it. I was going to Shibuya and going to Electric Town, and I was hanging out and I was just in my own world. I loved manga and anime before I went to Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when I got there, I went crazy.
Well, how could you not, right?
I was that's it. The whole thing is I still to this day watch a lot of Japanese TV.
Yeah.
I actually have Japanese TV coming into my house, and I actually watch Japanese dramas and Taiwanese dramas and K dramas. I'm just because I don't know. I get bored with some of the Western stuff because it's so predictable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing the different stories coming from the different aesthetics that are not Western aesthetics. And and it's interesting to me because I don't know those aesthetics, so it's not boring to me. It's interesting.
Well, and I think alongside the companion to that with kind of the standard Western series or the standard, that's all comfortable because it's the same, right? That's why you can have every episode, it's going to work out, right? And that's just comfortable. The familiarity is comfortable. Whereas if you look at a lot of African or Eastern or even some Eastern European,
it's different.
And Asian,
doesn't always work out.
No, it's going to not work out, right? And they don't hold your hand at all. You're thrown right in the middle of a scene, and you're like, I got to figure out what's going on. But I love that because I'm actively engaged.
Your mind should work. You shouldn't just be hit over the head.
No. And I think because you can do that. I did that with our film. I don't want to explain anything. I know that our audiences aren't stupid.
Yeah, but I think you got to trust that your audience is sophisticated enough.
Yes, exactly.
You can do the work, and you really you had 50 million views, you had 55K budget, you had $1.5 million.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
it shows people that say, indie stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does work. I mean, I've been a big follower of indie people,
Yep.
indie creators from all different aspects, from film to music to art. And I feel that that's where the energy comes from.
Yeah.
In the culture, I don't care about the top 50.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the people coming from every which direction.
Right.
Because that to me is what's interesting, and why I get up every morning is to look at art that is being pushed by people who have very good vision.
Yeah.
And maybe you broke through with this one and got to that level with 50 million views, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes people only get 50,000 views or 100,000 views, or I get bands I follow that maybe under 100,000.
Yeah.
And right again, she said, well, unless you're doing a billion streams, you're nothing.
Right.
Well, you might be something to me, because I still think I feel it.
Yes. And that's all that matters. Like that. Yeah. So, well, from a creative artist standpoint, but then, the business standpoint, that's the duality, right? From a business standpoint, like you just said, if you don't get a bazillion streams, you don't matter. And it's that's the thing. Like, if you can't break even in the film industry, then you don't matter, right? Then it's, either you're never going to work again, or, here's your second shot. Good luck. But it's that all that stuff is fascinating. Like having to deal with something that I think in our era that no one has, it's not the traditional model. It's not the studio system anymore, where it's let's throw $100 million of marketing at it and it'll succeed. It's like, for us, we had a zero ad spend. So we had no money for marketing whatsoever. But this thing called search engine optimization, right, allows you to have nothing. And if people connect with it, it's like true organically, the algorithm.
You're able to actually take advantage of the ether and be smart with the algorithms and kind of push yourself without the crazy ad buy that the studio system would tell you have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? But you found a way to still do it.
Yeah, you clearly you don't. And I think part of it was being embedded with having that, like you were saying, you have your tribe. The horror community was my tribe. So I already had these relationships, and because we enjoy something similar, and so I just happened to be somebody that put something out there that we also enjoy, right? And so it kind of, but it was never. Here's the crazy thing: we, like Nick was talking about, the movie premieres, and you're holding your breath because you're hoping some critics like it, and we were fortunate enough they did, right? And even though everyone's like, don't read reviews, just forget reviews, people are mean, but I couldn't help it. Yeah. And we were lucky that happened. And then you go through a stage where then there's this 2 weeks of you just don't know if people are going to see the movie. Are they finding it? Are they not finding it?
Oh yeah.
And, do you have to, how much do you put out there? I was going through I was totally stressed out. And then you start doing, you try and get other people to promote your film and say, hey, could you just mind doing a quick talk about the film or whatever? And then I got invited to a podcast, and I was like, oh, I hope that reaches people, whatever. And then more people, get 5 more people. And then, I'm emailing my cousins, hey, watch the movie, it's on whatever. And then all of a sudden it was all my friends were messaging me, and they're like, what did you do? What, it's, have you seen this? There's 20 million views on they're like, what? What's going on? And then you always assume the worst. You always brace, because it's so hard to be an artist, right? It's so hard to be vulnerable.
It doesn't always happen.
Yeah. And then you just okay, so you're expecting it to be bad. And then you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then
Does that help you launch to the next project, because you got that number?
Yeah.
Are you now getting better buy-in from people who are going to distribute or allow you to, be on platforms and different things? Do you get better,
So it's crazy because it's weird because Hollywood doesn't know what's going on right now, right? The system's broken. Yeah, so we did get an offer right away to do a sequel, but I didn't want to do the sequel with those people. So I'm like, well, who else can we go to? So, and then it's a matter of other people saying, well, hey, that's great. you want to do a sequel, but what if you did this too? And I'm like, well, then I want to do the sequel right now, like while we're hot, because if we do the sequel right now, it's the, we can go right into it. I'm still in that mode, in that frame of mind. If I have to do one of the other projects we have, it's so completely different from what we're doing.
Yeah.
It just, I have to shed that skin. And once you shed that skin, that's on the
back.
Yeah, I don't want to put that back on, right? Like that's discarded. And plus our kids are growing like weeds.
Yeah.
So, they're the main characters in the movie.
So you had to get the continuity. You kind of got a time box.
That's gone.
Yeah, you can't go from like, hey, I'm gonna kill those zombies to, where are the zombies at? It's like,
Yeah.
so that's a big part of it. But it's interesting though. You get people that reach out that you wouldn't expect to reach out. Like it's just like the craziest people have connected with us. And that's interesting. Like unexpected, like in my brain, I thought, okay, this studio or that studio is going to say, oh, great, congratulations. How would you like to do a project with us? Or how would you like to do that? And instead it's been studios or production companies that are like completely off my radar.
So totally not even your genre, maybe?
Exactly. Like, in fact, so we just picked up a producer. His name is Brent C. Johnson, and he just did a comedy, like a comedy, action comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so not even the same genre, but it doesn't, he's like what you consider like an A-list producer.
Yeah, so that works.
Yeah, like he knows he's done so many different films. You're like, okay, he knows.
He probably knows, oh, this guy will be good.
Yep. And I think it's a little easier. On one hand, it's disappointing because with those numbers, those are the numbers we got, that we were fortunate enough that, Gen Z loved us and our community really helped promote us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that it was the support of our community that allowed us to get those 50 million. And, I'm still shocked when someone sends like, hey, did you see someone just left a 12-minute review on YouTube and it's got 5 million views?
Yeah.
And then 2 days ago, it's like, whoa, we're still getting, so that's shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good numbers. Well, that's good engagement because then now you got you got the proof. Like the way the indie world works for a lot of people is like if you got those kind of numbers, and you can kind of say, yeah, I can do it, right?
Exactly. Like you can't. That's something that can't be taken away, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we could argue about, well, you owe us this much money, or oh well, like the books are this, or the books, oh well, maybe these, whatever. You can't argue the numbers. I mean, you
got good numbers, and then you got something to say.
Yeah.
You got something. You say like, now can you actually understand my vision can work?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to do the exact same thing. Just, think about return on investment. Like if I did it with 55K, what can I do with 500K?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you get the budget that actually lets you even expand that vision at a higher level.
Yes.
The next level is like every time you come into something as an artist, is like you come in at a shoestring budget, you do this, that. You come in and you're a musician, and suddenly you can afford to be at like a Electric Lady, or you can afford to be, like in London at Abbey Road.
Right.
Like, okay, now there's something different I can do. Right?
Yes.
Compared to when I was doing it in my bedroom.
Yes. This is what I was dreaming about. I did the work. I've gotten here. Like you've done the work. You've got all the battle scars. The crazy thing to me is when, again, from the business side, because they don't understand art or creativity, when they say like, oh, well, why don't you just do the same thing? It's like, because I killed myself.
They always want you to repeat yourself. I mean, that's the problem. Is like, as an artist, you usually don't want to repeat yourself.
No.
Maybe you want to continue elaborating something that you were doing, but you don't want to repeat exactly what you did.
Always bigger and better.
Yes.
Always. And for someone to be like, well, what if you just did it for 70? I was like, hey, 70.
Yeah.
Like I almost died shooting this movie, like, for 55. Like I earned it, we're talking like 500,000, like just 500K or 700K or whatever, right? That, and just think of what we could do. Like,
Yeah.
and it's also being, I think it's shocking, or not shocking, it's upsetting to me when I have put together, our team has put together a budget and a schedule and, all the like you can't get more detailed than that.
Right.
Right. And you say, we know exactly to the hour
What
what he's spending his money. And then they say, well, what about, and you're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
low ball you. Well, that's the thing today. It's interesting because like people, it's really interesting that they don't want. It used to be like musicians, they let us go like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't make it. Sometimes they let you do like 5. And if you think about guys like Zappa, like like you look at like Lou Reed and the Velvets, they did like 4 albums. None of them made any money.
Yeah.
And they're on the label for like 4 years, more than 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly by the 70s, everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
From 66 to 70, nobody loved it but other producers.
Mm-hmm.
Other producers thought they were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the fans didn't really know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that tends to be like, that used to be the model, and then some people had room to grow.
Yeah.
And get better. And now everybody just wants you to be fully established day one.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's almost like I hate to say it, but everyone's like, you got one shot.
That's it.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like in today's day and age, here's your one shot, shoot your shot, and then either it's going to take off or you're not. And it's kind of like, that is so much pressure.
Yeah.
That I think older generations, in talking to studio execs and talking to like lifelong producers, the generation that came up in the 80s and the 90s and 2000s, it is so much a different industry now. Like the framework is so different that
I guess the added edge with all this tech,
yes,
with all this AI and stuff. Somehow now, the same thing with like all different types of artists. There's a lot of artists in the indie world that would have never been able to stay on a label, that have been able to actually operate independently for like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, totally independently, and keep on putting out output. And with all this leveling up with the tech, potentially that expands to people where there would have been so much money needed to do it, that now that you could actually do it and maybe be living in this underground space longer and percolate more than what was possible before.
Yeah, but it's interesting. In the film world, I think the structure that's broken now is that it used to be you would start off in a low position on and then that would allow you to network, and then you get onto a bigger position, and then
eventually you do your own thing, but you have to be part of the structure before you can do anything.
Yeah, right. Like you would have years to develop yourself as a filmmaker, working like various departments, and because there's so many productions going on, like there's so many television shows with 24 episodes, and there's so many movies being, like the studio is making 20 movies every year, and
like an apprenticeship, like you're actually like working like that.
Exactly. And there's so much opportunity, but it was structured opportunity. All the studios were doing the same thing. You had writers' rooms, and you had, like it was technically an apprenticeship, and you had certain ways to work your way up. And then after, post COVID and post the strikes, all of a sudden it's not that at all, where production's down 67%, right? And there's just nothing being shot right now. And you have all these studios that are empty, and you don't have opportunity to follow or get mentored or whatever. But because of the technology, you can take, instead of networking with somebody or being on a studio lot and working that kind of tiered way up, that climbing the ladder, now it's go be creative and go shoot something.
Yeah, do it DIY. It's like it's kind of like indie musicians, like all these big bands like Pearl Jam. They all left the labels and said they'll be independent, just like the smaller bands, because they have more freedom.
Yes,
and they can actually put out what they want.
Yeah,
with A&R telling them what to do.
Yes,
and they can just, and so then you actually have a lot of experimentation. A lot of really good stuff is happening in the underground.
Yes,
right? In the kind of areas like where the Velvet Underground or the big stars or the Sunrise were coming out of the old worlds.
Yeah.
That's where all the real great stuff, like
Yeah.
your stuff, it's like, hey, it's all coming from different. It's not coming from the big systems. It's coming
No.
from outside, from independent people.
And it's interesting because I think for film, at least I don't know if it's like that with record labels, but it's you still have the corporate structure where if you want your movie to be seen,
You have to deal with them.
yes. And you still have to deal with, and you still have to, the attorneys are involved, and you have to, we gotta make sure this doesn't happen or this doesn't happen or what about this and what about that, and then they still are kind of the middle persons.
Yeah, there's still like everybody's saying there's no gatekeeper, but if you really want to break through,
Yeah.
there's still game. Even in the music world, they say, "Oh, there's no gatekeeper." Yeah, there are.
Oh yeah.
All the streaming services have integration with the labels,
Yes.
and they are actually controlling what's really breaking through at a big level.
Yes.
In the underground, like you can percolate,
Yeah.
but you ain't breaking through unless you get agreement with them.
Exactly. It's the same in the film world. Like you can't distribute your film, you can't distribute your film widely unless you deal with a studio or a distributor. And a lot of times the distributor is a studio. And we did that. We went through a studio distribution, and that's why we were able to get on Amazon. Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
that's an awesome story that you were able to get to that, and that in itself is like, that's a lesson. You could probably do a seminar to other people, like, but maybe you don't want to give away the secret sauce. But I mean, the idea, it's just really cool that you did the work. That's what's awesome.
Yeah. No, I want to tell everybody. Like that's if you have. I think I should temper that. Like I want to help everybody, but story. I think at the end of the day, people. I get a lot of questions right now on Instagram and TikTok from other filmmakers, and they're like, "Well, how did you emerge? How did you break through?" And it's just like, well, what about this, and this, and we get get a dialogue to try and help. But I think through those conversations, I've learned, and I think if you think about it, really, at the end of the day, story. It's story is the one that is the thing that's like why is a song or why is a movie popular and memorable, right? And it's these like 7 elements out of the story that made it popular and memorable, right? And I think, and what is it that what's the story behind the story that's also people as human beings we're just fascinated with, like, the song is great, but how did they come up with this song? Like,
it's like the behind the music, we're behind the film.
Yes, exactly. Like, wait, how did Billy Idol break through? Like, who is he with? Like, what?
I love the history of all art forms, and like I said, I watch that whole thing on Orson Welles. I watch documentaries about how did Lou Reed finally break through?
Yeah.
And how did big stars suddenly get popular?
Yeah.
And nobody was listening to them.
Right.
But it's like I always go for the underdog.
Yeah.
I've always been like, the Sunrise the top.
Yeah.
People are like, what? It's like no, they're the best.
Yeah.
But I'm always rooting for the person that's like,
Yeah.
Maybe nobody thinks they're the best, but I think they are.
I love that. I think that's the thing. Like, number one, I like what connects, and also I like the underdog story because we're underdogs, right?
Yes.
Like I think 99% of all of us are underdogs, right? And I think so when you do break through, it feels so good, right? And and then you want to see other people break through.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like you don't, since the beginning of time, right? Like it's so hard if you don't know anybody.
Yeah,
right?
You gotta know people.
Yeah, if your dad's not somebody, your mom's not somebody, or you didn't go to school with somebody that's somebody, right? Like in order to break in and just start like from the outside and to get into the inside, that's also like that is.
That's the story of our times, It's like, how do we get more art through?
Yes.
And we have so much art, kind of like so much overwhelming art being presented, and people are trying to discern, how do I actually pick like the gems out of here?
Yes.
And sometimes people are getting overloaded, and there's a lot of gems, but it's like, how do I find them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too when you're talking about gatekeepers, right? Like how do you even get to a gatekeeper in the first place, right? And then chances are you have to explain why should they pay attention to you versus 100 people that are coming to them that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting overwhelmed. I mean, there's so much come flooding through the gates.
Yes.
So I would think it's hard to discern.
Yep.
And there's so much is like it's like it's a toin cost.
Yep.
It's a lot of work. There's like, the connections you mentioned. There's all these things that factor into how do you get through. And should people be getting through? They're getting through, or should people be getting through? And it's like that's the story.
And I think to your point too earlier about how we just keep having remakes and everything's so boring and redone and done.
Why are you putting so much energy into stuff that's like mediocre?
Yeah,
that would be the argument I have. Is like, why are there so much mediocre stuff coming through and being funded?
Yes. Well, I think
there's actually really diamonds out here that you're not funded.
Right. Well, and I think it goes back to the, like the Nepo babies.
I was going to just bring that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like your connections, your parents. And that's when you think about it, that's a very homogenous community, right? Because that's why the things are the same. It's because they
all think the same.
Yeah. Right. Like they're all going to have the same taste because they're all at the same country club or.
Yeah. They all went to the same school. They're all in the same grad. They're all in the same room. They're all the same.
That same algorithm.
Yep. So they're all, they all like mayonnaise and bread.
Yeah.
And that's like
try something different. Nobody's gonna go.
No. Like, but my mayonnaise and my son's mayonnaise and bread, the way he spreads the mayonnaise is different.
It's like flying fish. My wife's from Barbados. It's like, are you guys gonna try to fly in fish? It's like, what?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What?
What?
No. Yeah. No. It's like the idea that it's interesting to talk to some of those gatekeepers. Some are very nice, right? But when you talk to them and they say stuff like, I don't even understand what you did. I know what you did is good, but I don't understand that area yet. And it's just like, but you're the one with the wait, what?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like I was interesting. I will kind of go over, but I want to point out one thing. I remember Frank Zappa was saying back in the record industry, he was kind of complaining about it. He said the one thing in the late 60s and 70s was like you get to these record labels and you get the guy with the cigar and he said, well, you know what? I don't understand it, but maybe the kids will like it.
Yeah.
So they let it come through, right? And then he said, then we got to like the 80s and the 90s and Zappa started saying, well, now these guys think they know. And but they don't know. I mean, they're not musicians, they're accountants.
That is.
And they come in and they tell me that they know, and they actually don't know.
That is the worst, the absolute. The second I hear someone say, "Well, I am the VP of blah blah blah," but at heart I'm really a creative, and immediately I'm like, "Oh, great! Here we go. It's going to be." They think they know what people.
That's the worst. Zappa was like railing again. There's a whole interview where Zappa went off on that.
Yeah,
and he was like that destroyed a lot of great, because he said there was this period like when he was with the Mothers and doing all the stuff with like the very advanced stuff he was doing, and like there's no way, so they wouldn't allow me to do that now. I couldn't do it. They won't let it come through. And it's like, well, that's terrible because the stuff he was doing was like amazing. And that's where that's kind of where we are in with these gatekeepers, because they don't really know art.
They want so to me it's sad in a sense that they want to.
Yeah.
Like you can see they're hovering on the periphery of, instead of doing the work themselves, I don't know if they think it's too late or whatever, but it's kind of a tragedy when you think about how they're this close, they can touch the creativity, but they don't understand it. And they
don't know enough about it to be making the decision, and that's why I like maybe you should just like be like the guy with the cigar. Like, well, I don't understand what the kids are into, but like if they're into, I'll give it a shot because I don't know. And why don't you let it come through?
Yes, or if they do, I mean that's the worst thing is when you get notes, right? And you're like, oh, these notes make no sense. And you can see I've been on multiple projects too, not my own, but I've been involved in projects where you look at it and you're like, okay. So many gatekeepers have said, well, what if the story you did this? Or my wife likes this, so why not this?
Yeah.
Or can this character be this way instead? Because my kid really likes this. And it's like, that's not how it works.
No.
Like, of all people you should know, and like you said, they should just be like, they should be self-regulated enough that they say, I don't get it.
Yeah,
But
the hands off it, but maybe the kids will like it. Maybe they say, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because, nobody understood Hendrix when he was putting the feedback. I mean, even the engineers told him he couldn't do it.
No,
Yeah.
He kept on pushing, and you got Eddie Kramer to say, hey, we will put it down.
Yeah.
All these other people were saying, dude, can't put it down. And, they finally got Kramer and said, yeah, we will put it down.
Right.
And then it changed the whole world because, you weren't allowed to do that.
No.
They wouldn't even let you put it on the tape.
Yeah.
And say the gatekeeper said we can't have sounds like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the problem. You get these people. It's like, how do you know what's right? You can't be doing that. You gotta allow stuff to come through that you don't know.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think sometimes too, you have to be able to step back enough and say, okay, I'm not an expert in this field, and I know a bunch of people who are, so I can ask their opinions
Mhm.
if you really want to know. Or you can just say, look, these people have been successful. I don't understand why, but let's
Just let them percolate. Let them do their thing.
Yes.
yeah, let's assist them in doing it, and let's be a part of it.
Yes.
But yeah,
Hands don't try to stap it down. Don't tap it down.
Right.
Actually, go and let it grow.
Yes.
Put the water on it. Let the garden grow.
Yes. Yeah. Don't say I want to plant other flowers.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to rip everything out from the root and start all over again.
yeah. Right. Just water it. Just water it. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being here tonight. It was so good that I went over a little bit.
Yeah.
We do have your QR code for the movie there.
Thank you.
I want people to check that out. We do encourage people to use the QR codes that we have up. And we do have your Amazon link. We have your Instagram. Those are going to be fully clickable. We've been live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. We will be on other platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify Video Podcast, Amazon Radio, iHeartRadio, and Facebook later, and also Newsly. So I want to thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for us.
Thank you, Phantom.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great talk.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let me know when the next thing comes out, so now you can come back.
Thank you.